What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and welcome back to the exclusive video for the highest tiered supporters for November 2024. We're almost at the end of the year, so again, I want to thank you all for the support, whether first month, 50th month, whatever it might be. No, honestly, I really appreciate it, and we're getting there. We're almost in 20. We made it. We made it another year, although I guess we still have 1 month left. So I want to do in this video, I was kind of thinking of topics, and I thought, well, we've kind of bounced around like personal, and then we've always talked about movies or TV shows every so often, but I thought, you know what, the why I'm getting stuff that I always do, right? I actually left one off, and I was considering, like, I was ready, I wrote it down, and when I write something down, it's pretty likely to happen because I'm kind of just like that, but why I'm getting Marvel Rivals. And when I think about December, there's 3 games that I'm getting: is Rivals, is Indiana Jones, and is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And 2 of them are free. Rivals is just a free-to-play game, and then Indy's on Game Pass. So Power Rangers would be the one that I'm spending money on, but Rivals, I think Rivals is first in terms of like the actual release structure. And so I was considering doing it, never end up recording it. Want to just kind of give you guys some of my brief thoughts, because to be honest with you, there's not that many. Like I tried once to get in on this thing, like the early access or beta or whatever. I was never selected, and I watched people play it. It's been like multiple waves, so I really don't know what era I'm talking about, and I don't even know what I watched. But it had like that really big playtest period where a lot of content creators, a lot of journalists and stuff were able to play it. And I remember when they announced that I was super anti it, and generally it's just not my thing. But you know me, hopefully, right? Like I'm willing, number one, to give games a chance. I'm also willing to kind of like let games be. You know what I mean? Like if they're not the type of game that I'm into, I'm not saying they can't exist. They can exist and do whatever. It's just I'm not really into it, right? I just generally don't talk about it, think about it, whatever. So the game gets announced, and I'm anti it. It's like, well, I'm not gonna get it, or I'm not really interested. And as time has gone on, like this is an actual like anticipated game. If I were to rank it, like if every game this year I knew about going into the year, this would be almost at the very bottom of like my ranking, simply because it's just not my type of game. You know what I mean? It would be there like Skull and Bones and some of the other games. But as time has gone on, and as I saw people able to play test and stuff, like the game actually looks quite good. Now this like hero shooter type thing, again, not really my jam, but I think well, there's a couple factors, being Marvel, and I think 33 characters. Like it's actually quite a list. I think the early access was not nearly as many. It was maybe like a third of that. So I've seen some characters. Like I think I saw Doctor Strange. I'm trying to remember like what characters I actually see. But I've seen some of them. You see like the character breakdown videos that they've done with some of them. So I think it's a very good roster with a very and I guess spinning off of that, like it being Marvel and then them doing something different, like it's something that I had to kind of rationalize with Midnight Suns, where it's like I think Midnight Suns is a phenomenal game, a game that you're going to go back to. People are already doing it now, but every year you're going to go back to it and say that was an overlooked. Like nobody looked at that game, nobody played that game, and that was a travesty. What happened there? So this is. With that game, I was really into it. With this game, may or may not be, but it still exists in that same kind of bubble where it's like they've tried Avengers. We've had Spider-Man, and we're going to get Wolverine, and, we got Midnight Suns. Like, they are allowed to try these different types of games. Number 2, being free to play, I pretty honestly, I said in the beginning, right? Like, if this game cost money, if this game was like 30, 40, 50 bucks, there's no way. Absolutely no way I would get it. Maybe like down the line for a sale or something, but just generally, this is not the type of thing that I would spend money on. Now, it'll be interesting to see like what kind of microtransactions it has, but, I'm generally more lenient on games that are free to play. If the game's free, they need to make money, so I'm willing to give them on a lot of things, not everything, but a lot of things. Like I'm willing to give them because they've got to earn money somehow, and it's got the Marvel license. They got to make like triple the amount to kind of pay back that licensing fee. So that's another one. But it does look like a good time. I guess that's kind of number 3, like good time / I do think I might be able to get into it, and I've said this, for multiplayer games, just in general videos, I am always looking for games to like add to the rotation, right? Like right now it's been so busy and play old games for Back to the Past, play new games, but when there are dead periods, or also when I've said this before, I think in these kind of videos, like if I'm burnt out at any point, I normally go back to like the rotation of like a Rocket League. Like Rocket League is always installed, always ready to go, multiplayer, right? But a game that, I don't know, just really connects. I'm just able to do. Dead by Daylight was that game years ago for me. For Honor was that game years ago for me. So, I'm always looking for, like when Texas Chainsaw came out or Killer Clowns, like, I like to have a couple different types of games, generally multiplayer. Really, it's always kind of multiplayer. I'll go back to old single player games, but I do like having just the repetition to add to my kind of catalog. So that's always a big part of it. I don't know. Like I always emphasize, I don't know if it's as important for other people as it is to me, but when it comes to this kind of game, it's a game that's a big like what if, because honestly, I could play it one day, which I will. I'm going to give it like 1-2 days, and in those 1-2 days, it's either going to get me or not. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like if it gets me, it's something where, okay, well, this enters my rotation. It's free to play. I don't have to worry about the money. And, it's a thing that I can always go back to every month, every 5 months, every year, whatever. I can always go back to it. If it doesn't get me, it doesn't get me. And that's for any multiplayer only type game. That's generally how I think about it. And then, you get the Marvel parts and other parts as well. So there you go. Again, it's the first one of those three. I think man, I think this is like the 6th. I think Indiana Jones is the 9th or 10th, and then Power Rangers is like the next day. Like I think these 3 games come out within like 5-6 days, like within, let's say 7. Within 1 week, you get all 3 of these games. So it is quite a busy, end of the year. But you let me know what you think in the comments, if you're going to get the game or play the game, I should say, or not. You let me know. Thank you again for all the support. We'll see you in about a week's time for the members video for December. That'll be for everybody, okay? Thanks for being here. I'll see you all on the next one.